All right. Here we go. We are live.
We're
And
live.
I'm so excited. Here
Yes,
we are in all of our glory. Not us
my
trying to experiment
favorite. I
with
liked it.
some
I thought it was
intros.
cool.
It's like a waiting room, like you're just like waiting. I'm chilling and listening to the music. It's actually pretty mellow.
Right. And it was good music too. It's not like that ugly elevator jazz stuff that you sit in.
Nope. Ain't none of that.
No, it was awesome. I loved it.
I can't wait to figure out how we do some lives on Insta and TikTok and get that on other platforms. I cannot wait.
Yes, I definitely have been researching to figure that stuff out, but soon come.
We it is March and I cannot believe we've been doing this for like what, 5, 6 months, and
Has
it's
it
just
been that
flown.
long?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. It doesn't feel like it's been that long.
We I think the first one was November or October. I think it was November we talked about October. So yeah, it's been 5 months. No, that's 6 months, isn't it? Yeah.
Wow. It doesn't even feel like it's been that long.
It hasn't. So if you just popped on, throw something in the chat, say hey. We're excited. I think we're going to get a lot of engagement on this episode because it was a book. Everybody was posting in the fable, and I got to read
Yes.
everything. I of course finished it yesterday. Everybody, um, so I got to read all your comments in all the chapters yesterday.
Did you really just finish this yesterday?
Yeah,
Oh my
I literally
gosh.
got home from working last night. You know, I work a second job, and Emily was upstairs, and I walked in and I was like, I have 10 minutes left in this book, and if you know, the last 10 minutes, the last couple chapters of this book are just.
Right.
So I was like, don't talk to me until I am done.
It's like, leave me alone. Just a few more minutes. Just a few. Let me finish. I
Yep.
feel like it wrapped up so fast. Oh my gosh. I know we're not there yet, but I really like this one.
I know it
And
was
I don't
fun.
and this was my first. Oh, we didn't show the book. Oh yeah, here goes the
Oh,
book.
here, let me let's do our digital as well. Where's this bad boy at? Here we go. There we go.
There we go.
It is a
Got
pretty,
it.
look at that shiny.
I know.
And I like the way they did this with in the middle where it splits. It says a novel, and
Yes.
it's like the book inside the book.
I thought that was really cool.
It's
Like there
it's a
was some
good cover.
serious thought that went into this one, like especially like with the water and everything. Like I don't think I've paid this much attention to it until after I finished it. Because like when you look at it, it's like, oh, this is a really pretty book. But then you're like, oh, now I get why this is such a pretty book. Like it makes sense. It just makes sense.
You should have done the audio because it was a like full production. I mean, they had like
I
a little
did.
bit of music. Oh, did you do the
Hmm.
audio? So you
Yep,
got
I
to
did the
hear
audio.
all
Yes,
the
with the
sound
water
effects and stuff.
rushing and everything. I thought that was so cool.
I'll be honest, it did get annoying at the end with them changing perspectives. And I'm like, I know, I've heard it, I've seen it.
Not you synced it.
Yes, I've seen it. I don't want to see it again. Just give me what y'all can't keep dropping these cliffhangers at the end of chapters when you know I'm in it. I'm like foaming at the bit.
Yes, it was definitely, and this was my first one by Feeney as well too. So I really didn't know what to expect, but I've heard so much about her novels. So it was really exciting to really like actually dig into one of hers.
I am interested to do a third book by Feeney because I did rock paper scissors and I
Hmm.
did this one, and we're gonna get into it in a little bit when we get spoilery. But like a non-spoiler is there's a very similar structure to the book,
Okay.
and so I was like, oh, I already know how this is gonna go, and like part of me was right, and part of me was like really, really wrong.
Okay. And see, that's what everybody says. It's like kind of, sort of, maybe, kind of there, not there.
Everybody who's read this, like it or hate it, still puts Daisy Darker above it. So, and I do have that one downstairs, and I've had it. I think it's a book of the month from I don't know when I first started, like 01 or 21 or something. So I
So
need
we need
to.
to put Daisy Darker on our list.
We might want to space it out. I don't know if Emily can handle two thrillers in a row. Well, I guess they're not in a row because we already got this month's pick.
Right.
I think Daisy Darker's got a good. like summery vibe. It's very similar though. It's got the rocks on the cover, and I think it's an island story. Like it's very similar.
I'm gonna have to look because I don't even know what Daisy Darker is about. So is it Daisy Darker? Did I say it right?
Yeah,
Okay. I was like, wait, did I say it right? No, I don't even know what it's about or anything. Like I said, this is my very first one by her, so
I'm pretty sure Daisy Darker. See, I get two books confused a lot. Um, it's Alice Feeney and Lucy Foley, and they have very similar. They're thriller writers, and they have like similar books that come out around the same time. But let me double
really.
check just to make sure. Daisy Darker, yeah, it's Alice Feeney, so we're
Okay.
good.
Okay. So I'm like, is it? Is it not? Okay.
So yeah, this one it has a take Goodreads with a grain of salt, but it's got a 3.77 on Goodreads, 228,000 ratings.
Oh wow.
So,
So that's actually pretty
3.77 is
decent
not
then.
not great, but when you have that many ratings, you're bound to get, a good bit.
And it's
Um,
a mix up everywhere too. So it's like probably some threes and fours and fives that kind of make that average, what it is.
Rock Paper Scissors, which is the only one that I've read from her, is 3.9, so right above it. And then Beautiful Ugly, this book is 3.69 with only 70,000 ratings. So they're all going to be about the same. I think we're getting the same.
Okay.
You
And
know,
honestly, with this one as well too, this is a newer book. I think
yeah.
like didn't this just come out like literally
Here
January? I feel like.
they put the month on it in book of the month. So let's see here, December 2024.
Where you see? Oh, the bag. Okay.
Yeah, mine's on the cover of the little stamp on my book of the month.
Okay, and see, it's also on
Oh,
the
is it on the
back of
back
it too.
too?
hmm
Oh, sweet.
But I was thinking like I feel like this was like an early release one that we got
It might have
from
been.
Book of the Month. Let me see. I did
Yeah, I'm
attempt at
checking now.
tabbies for this one. You will be very proud of me. They don't have anything on them, but I did attempt at tabbies. So I tried to
I gotta.
annotate it.
Well, that's nice. You didn't get
Yeah.
too far, did you?
Um, See what happened was I started the book with the Kindle,
Ah,
and then I'm like, well, I'm not annotating in the book. So then I put the book, the Kindle down, and then I said, well, I'll pick up the book, and then I listened to it. So I only got a couple of them on there, just a little bit,
okay.
but they're
Hey,
on
that's more
there,
than I did. I
and they
didn't read
match.
physically. Emily did. You
Okay.
know, it ain't for me.
So can I just give like super like major kudos because I loved the way these chapters were titled. Did you happen to pay
Yes.
attention like while you were reading how they were titled?
Yes, because I think that title, like chapter titles, is something that doesn't happen, but it used to
hmm
be the norm. And I love a chapter title. I don't want to hear chapter 5. I want to hear,
Oh, I was
whatever it was.
so happy. Like the fact that one of them were called Stupidly Brilliant and they were always like opposites of each other. Loved it. Loved it.
And if you noticed, it's like a movie where you're waiting to hear the title of the movie. Each chapter, that sentence or that phrase was said somewhere in the chapter. So I
Always.
really enjoyed that.
It made me so
All
happy.
right.
I really enjoyed
Well,
it.
we're 10 minutes into this thing, and I think we're
No
gonna
way. We
jump
already
off.
hit 10
Yeah.
minutes?
Yep.
Dude, all right. Summary. Let me read it.
Yeah, you do such a good job. Please read it.
Well, thanks. All right. Our summary. Author Grady Green is having the worst day of his life, literally. Grady calls his wife to share some exciting news as she is driving home. He hears Abby slam on the brakes, get out of the car, and then nothing. When he eventually finds her by the cliff, the headlights are on, the driver door is open, her phone is still there, but his wife has disappeared. A year later, Grady is still overcome with grief and desperate to know what happened to Abby. He can't sleep, he can't write, so he travels to a tiny Scottish island to try to get his life back on track. There he sees the impossible. a woman who looks like his missing wife.
I mean, you don't need any more of a premise than that. Like, yes,
No,
it's recycled, it's been done, but I don't know, like, it
but
hyped
it
me
was
up. I was
brilliant.
excited.
It was brilliant. I thought it was just brilliant.
So, I think we just jump right into, like, just some general, like, feelings, no specific ratings, but I know you liked it pretty good.
Mhm.
I enjoyed it, I certainly did. I will say that we waited for me to finish the book. Emily just I think she finished this, like, a month ago, literally,
I
and
figured she
she's
she
just
read this
been
one like pretty quick.
she was waiting for me to read it and talk about it, but, like, I can't do that. I gotta cram it in the day before, so I got stuff fresh on my brain. I read too many books, and, so we watched a live show. Gabby, at the Book Troop Book Club, she's a booktuber, and she had this was their book club pick for this month, and
Oh,
they
that's
talked about it, and
exciting.
let me tell you, they let it go, okay, and every time I had a rating and, like, every time they'd say something, I'm like, "You know what? Yeah, yeah," and so, like, my rating would come down a little bit, but at the same time, I I was turning pages, listening so quickly. I literally finished this in less than 4 hours last night. I
Wow.
mean, I was eager to finish it, and it was a good time. So, I needless to say, I did enjoy it.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. I think I just get so happy knowing that you enjoyed a book that we picked for book club. Like,
I
I
mean,
mean,
we really haven't
technically we
missed.
didn't pick it. It just won the poll, but it was one of the ones that I feel like did I just throw this one on there? I don't even remember how I picked the
We
books
were
this time.
we were wanting to do some thrillers, so I think we had 2 or 3 thrillers on there.
Mhm.
Now I will admit, we were supposed to read 2 books this month.
I didn't make it to the bonus read. Mm-mm,
No,
I didn't
no.
make it. We'll have to revisit that one.
Imma get to it because I actually saw somebody recently read, Jason Rekulik's first book, Hidden Pictures. Is it Hidden Pictures? Yeah,
Mhm.
and,
Hidden Pictures was great.
I loved it, and so I wanna read this second one, though it is pretty different. It's more thriller than horror, but
Mhm.
I just wanna see what he's got. It was his debut. I wanna see if he can keep it up.
I'm gonna have to take a look and see. I wasn't really too excited about that one, but I'll have to check it out and see.
Well, I might just go ahead and read it, and then I'll let you know if you need to pick it up.
That actually will work.
I'm probably not getting to it in March. That feels like an April book for me. My
I'm
March
thinking May.
TBR, yeah, fair. I think my March TBR is just um, a little too heavy as is. We
Mhm.
got a heavier book for this month's book club pick where I'm going to need to take my time with it because it's not going to be plot heavy as much as it is going to be character driven. And so
Mhm.
I just want to take my time with that one. And then Sanderson and a couple other fantasy reads and some arcs. I'm just full up this month.
What do I have this month? I'm still working on A Little Life. I just finished Nightingale, literally right before our call, like an hour before we started, I finished Nightingale. Um, you still have to read it. What else did I do? No, I think that's it.
Okay. Well, you got room. You got time. There's 25 more days left.
Well, I still have a lot of stuff on my on my brain to technically do, but they're like written out to figure out what's what. But I do know I need to read The Filling Station
Yeah.
because this one gets released on the 11th, March 11th. So this one, actually, I'm gonna read that one.
Yep. You just put
That'll
that to the
be
side.
yes.
And after we put Ham to bed there, we're going to crack that book,
I
right?
will be I will be opening this one because I keep telling myself that I need to read this book, especially knowing that it goes live literally next week. Is it next week already, 11th? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Literally next week. So I need to read this. I will be reading Good Dirt. I will be reading that one. That is for sure. And Mistborn. Those are my
Oh, yeah.
absolute
I got to get
for
Emily
sure's.
moving on that.
Yeah, I haven't picked that one up yet, but I know for sure like those are the ones that I am currently making my way through. And I want to finish A Little Life this month.
Awesome.
Mhm.
All right. Well, I mean, we pretty much know what we think about it, so let's just get straight into ratings. If
Mhm.
you're watching, go ahead and comment on the YouTube page. Just say what your rating was and let us know. I'll let you kick it off.
4.5.
Oh boy.
I had to add the
Oh,
point 0.5.
I, well, that's too high for me. I started at around 4, but
Mhm.
I think I'm gonna land at a 3, and it will make sense later
Okay.
because everything for me, I just got some questions about this ending. Okay, and like we've been kind in some past book talks where we don't like get into it. No, we got to get into this because I got to ask some of these questions because I need to know how you
Okay.
feel.
Okay. I'm here for it.
Yeah. So, I mean, overall, I believe Emily gave it a 3.5 as well. I think she put a
Okay.
4 on Goodreads, but she's out at visiting family, so I don't know if she's going to pop on later or not. But
Okay.
she still liked it as well. But I seen her agreeing on the video we were watching last night. Like, yeah, that did kind of irk me.
Mhm.
So
It
yeah,
did have some irking moments, and that's the reason why I did give it, the 4.5. I did like the overall concept of it, and then also some of the other bits and pieces that began to put themselves together and things. I thought that I just didn't expect it. And I don't read too many thrillers, but it seems like every thriller that I read is at least a 4. Now,
that's impressive.
yes, and I thought this one, because usually my McFadden books are usually like straight 4s. This to me was definitely better than than the McFadden ones I've been reading.
I think Feeney does a really good job with this atmosphere and
Mhm.
kind of traditional horror writing where it builds up, you feel the tension rising, it crescendos around the end of the chapter with a cliffhanger, and then you got to turn the next page. The cliffhangers usually fall a little flat. The
Mhm.
cliffhangers like, and then the next page is just like it was something mundane or whatever. But
Mhm.
I mean, you can't be throwing crazy stuff the whole time. But like from chapter like 3, okay, they started throwing some creepy stuff. This one was had some creepy elements.
It did have some creepy. It definitely had some creepy. And thinking of what was the lady's name? I know I'm gonna mix it up, but just like super creepy vibes.
Which lady? The fairy lady?
Yes. Was her name
Yeah,
Sandy?
Sandy. Yeah.
Sandy. Okay, yeah. Sandy was creepy.
Yeah,
Um,
she had that like I'm everywhere all the time and he's like normally people can't sneak up on me, but Sandy came up and the dog didn't even bark.
mhm. Let's
Though the
see. I
dog
have
was pretty chill. I mean, he was just kind of going along with it. I got labs at home, so that's how they are. They're just like, I'm happy to be here. Just let's go do
mhm.
whatever.
They are generally happy though. They are definitely generally happy. Um, I've just pulled out my notes from my Kindle. See, so there's some notes on there.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, the tension, the atmosphere, it was all there. I did feel, and the sound effects in the audiobook definitely helped. It also helped that it was like raining last night. So I felt
Mhm.
like as I'm going in and out of the stores shopping and stuff, I'm like, okay, I can feel the cold wind. And like I felt immersed in the book because I was in the elements.
Yeah. I think that was just very well done. Just the production of the audio, how it went directly along with the book. I feel like at one point you even heard like footsteps or something, but it was very descriptive. Like when he walked into the forest or whatever and the leaves were, cracking under his feet and things like that. Like I just love how descriptive it was. Very thorough.
And I've never been to like Scotland or anything. I've never been overseas, but I definitely felt like they did a good job of making me feel like tap into my brain and remember all of the books and the movies and everything that I've read or I've experienced that have that setting and like just borrow from that. So I felt
Mhm.
like I knew what this island looked like.
Was it? It's like The Isle of Amberley, like, I know this might be a silly question, but is it like a real place or it was just
It's
something
not.
that was made up? But I
Yep,
wonder if it was like maybe inspired by somewhere else in Scotland. Like, why
for sure.
Scotland out of all the places for this one?
I think she writes a lot about Scotland and, like, the UK up there. I don't know if she's from there or not, but she does write a lot of the books from that kind of premise, and I think Daisy Darker is set in Scotland or somewhere up there as well.
Okay.
So, she's got a niche and she likes it, and I think if I think it would be really easy to write small town based off of our experiences from growing up in a small town, and I think that's
Mhm.
probably where she does such a good job because she's lived it.
And I'm actually looking at some of the pictures of list of islands in Scotland just because
Yeah.
I feel like this is something that she had to do when she sat down
Oh,
because
for
looking
sure.
at some of these, it's like she really did some work on these.
And, she did say in the author's note or acknowledgments, she named it after, I wanna say a niece or somebody, whose name was Amber, so she called it Amberley. Um,
Oh, see, I didn't read the end of the book. I didn't read that part.
it was part
The
of
author's
the,
notes.
yeah, it was part of the audiobook, so I just kept listening.
No,
There
when
were a
it was
couple
done,
other
I was
things
like,
on there,
okay, I finished. I didn't
but
read anything.
it was interesting for sure. I think the island really did a good job. The characters, like, gave you those vibes, like, everything was vivid, and as far as an author goes, I think she knocked it out of the park. She did her job. I understood everything.
Absolutely. And even by looking at these pictures, I can honestly see like this is what she was talking about. Let me see if I can pull it up. Mm.
And
You probably
yeah,
can't
there you
see
go.
him. Yeah, there you go. You see him?
There you go. Yep.
She did a really good job. She did a really good job.
And, yeah, I definitely think there are some elements about this story that, I wanna dive into. I don't know if are we ready to get, like, light spoilery, or do we wanna wait a little bit longer?
Um, let's go for it.
Alright, everybody,
We'll
you've
go
been warned.
spoilery.
We're gonna do it. We're gonna talk about a couple things. There's a lot of twists in this one, and I think, thrillers I feel bad for thriller writers nowadays because back in the day, you could drop one big reveal at the end of a
Hmm.
book or a movie or whatever, and you're golden. Like, if it's good, you have hit the jackpot. Now, I
Hmm.
feel like there were 20 twists in this, and some of them at the very last second, and they threw me for a loop.
Yeah, this one did have a lot of twists and turns. It definitely had a lot.
One thing that I will start to talk about is the writing style that she has adapted for at least 2 of the books that I've read from her, which is you get a little bit of flashback of, like, letters or, I think this one is actually, like, therapy sessions with a
Yes, it was
therapist,
therapy. Yeah, it was the wife's therapy sessions. It gave her
and
point of
so
view. So
it
most of the
gave
book
her
was
point of
in
view,
the husband's point of view, but then when we got her stuff, it was her therapy sessions.
and they're telling very different stories about the same relationship, right? Um,
Mhm.
and then we'll elaborate on this in a minute on how, like, even that throws you for a loop. But it takes this, like, unreliable narrator, trope, and he's telling the story, and you cannot see, any of the
Mhm.
elements in which you're like, "They had a good, happy life. What is she talking about?"
Yep.
And then I think that's one of those beautiful, ugly, there one person was telling this beautiful story, one person was telling a very ugly story,
Mhm.
and, it's all about who controls the narrative, and I think there's a lot about men and their control and power, and, of course, the man is telling the beautiful, clean-cut story, and maybe the
Because
truth isn't,
nothing's wrong. Yep.
and so I
Nothing's
really
wrong.
like that.
Can I just say, I wanted to know the importance of the fish and chips. Like when the book started, I just knew that fish and chips was going to be something. And I was like, what about what's fish and chips?
I mean, I like fish and chips, but living in London,
Mhm.
I would imagine you would be sick of fish and chips, and I don't think that that would be like a cute little, like, "We celebrate
Mhm.
everything with fish and chips." That's weird, but I mean, to each their own.
I just knew it was gonna be something more to the fish and chips, and I think that was one of my biggest letdowns because I don't know, I just wanted it to have, like, more weight to it, and just the fact that it was just, like, literally just something that they celebrate. I think that was
That's
my
literally
first.
the first
Yeah.
question you asked in Fable on that chapter
Yes.
was like, "What is so special about fish and chips?"
I did. I was like, "What is so special about fish and chips?" Because it's just the way it opened up. He's so excited about these fish and chips, and I'm like, "Okay, well, tell me more about these chips and the fish." Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
But what about telling him they tell each other, "I hope you die in your sleep."
How creepy is that?
That's I mean, I guess I see it, but, like, I feel like that was another thing where they were trying to tell you he's trying to turn something nasty into something
Mhm.
cute. I don't think that's
Yeah,
what she meant. I think she meant, "I hope you die in your sleep."
exactly. Because it's like, a matter of fact, that was actually one of my highlights as well too. Page 31 and awfully good. That's literally my next one that's on here. I That was just weird. I did so here's one that I have as well too, just to kind of piggyback off of that one. I believe life rations happiness. People who get more than their fair share get fat on joy. Those who don't get enough forget how to feel it. I fear I had forgotten, but I want to remember this moment. So I search for my phone in my pocket to take a photo. I notice that I still have no signal, not a signal bar.
Yeah.
But life rations happiness.
There were some interesting quotes, and a lot of them were, like, similar to the title where you get these, like, contradictory things, and I think that's
Mhm.
what anytime you can highlight from a book is it's good. And I think I saw, Serena and some other people were doing a lot of quoting. I think, maybe it was Shailene. Maybe Shailene
Mhm.
was, I think she got the digital book. I think she went through Fable and got the digital book because there were a lot of highlights on there.
I think
And so
I'm
I
gonna
think she was
do the
highlighting it.
digital book more. I think I'm gonna start doing the digital book just to go in and kind of like share those with the group. I have to think about it because I don't know how I feel about reading through the actual app itself. That's the only thing that I am not crazy about with that app is reading it actually in there.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Mhm.
But, you know, Imma be audio regardless. I mean, my
Mhm.
brain ain't got time. I ain't got time to sit down. Just don't.
No, keep moving. So, question for you.
Yeah.
Did the plot of all the twists and turns did it feel did it feel convoluted to you? Like, just all over the place? Or did it feel like it had a streamline for you?
I'm gonna say it started to feel like it started good, and then
Mhm,
the more twists we added, the more it started to fold in on itself, and then by the end of the book, I'm literally going, "Was it this or was it that?" What it fell apart, and I think
mhm.
that was the purpose, was to
Okay.
make you feel like question that last scene. Like, did it really happen? Is this how is it happy? Is it happy in another way? Like, is
Mhm.
justice been served or whatever the case may be? But we will talk about those last two big reveals here in a minute because I am kind of ticked off about one of them because it just doesn't fit.
Okay.
And I think I got 10 other ways we could have done this and it would have made
Mhm.
sense. But the
Okay.
one thing they didn't. So,
Well,
but
you
yeah,
tell
I,
me
I
when you're
definitely think
ready.
that. Did you, how did you feel about that? Did you think it was convoluted?
Um, I felt like it was kind of rushing at the very end. So it's like, okay, I have like a page limit. Let me throw this twist and then let me okay, how can I wrap this up? Let me throw this part in there and how can I wrap that up? It just seemed like you're taking like a shoestring or like the pieces of a pie or something and you're just like layering, kind of like that.
Yeah. And quite frankly, there all there is left to talk about is all the reveals. The book
Mhm.
followed a very it wasn't really plot driven. He kept seeing his wife in different things and different people, and then there were elements that were, like, meant to make you think he was going crazy and, like, gaslighting
Mhm.
him, like the phone ringing and her saying something over the thing, and they're
Did
like,
the
"That
phone
doesn't
really
work."
ring though?
I don't know.
I feel like
I
the phone had to ring.
I don't know because I don't think anyone on the island has a phone, so
Mhm.
how could they have connected and talked to it? I think it
Exactly.
was a little bit about him going crazy.
Because he was drinking that tea. So
Yes,
maybe the tea had him actually hallucinating.
but, like, Imma say this as clear as stop drinking these people's tea.
He was tearing that tea up every
Every
second he
time
got.
she's like, "I got you some Kit Kats, also, here's some more tea." Dude,
Mhm. Yep. Like how much more? How?
fool me once, but, like, when you're waking up in a hallucinogenic stupor, it's time to put
Mhm.
down but he's also blaming it on all of the alcohol. He's drinking all this whiskey, and he's an alcoholic.
Mhm.
I
Yeah, it's not a good
mean,
mix. And they
no, it's
probably
not
interacted
so
each other too because she had like that what was it, like the what is it, Murdoch tea or something like that, I think is what it
yeah, I
was
don't remember the
called.
name of it, but it was something to make you I don't know if it's based off of mushrooms or flour that was found somewhere locally, but yeah, don't drink that tea.
No, he was tearing that tea up. I mean, all
And
the way.
I think at the very end, I think that's what they have him drink the tea and then it alludes to the final turn, but I wanna talk about the reveal that was right before that. Okay,
Mhm.
the his wife gets out of the car, and she's going to investigate this person laying in the ground. And
Mhm.
lo and behold, it's this dude wearing her coat and pretending to be somebody else.
Yeah, that was very weird.
Like,
I couldn't quite figure that one out because if he was technically on the phone, how could he have been in the
so
road?
he was on the phone. He knew her phone was being tapped because she's been receiving threats. So
Mhm.
he continued to do that and pretend he was at his house on the phone with her because he
Oh.
knew it was gonna be recorded and then he would be able to but, like, let me tell you, that is the mind of a psychopath,
Yeah.
and you don't he's too innocent in this, like, when they revealed everything and, like, it came clean, he should have turned into the monster he literally is, and
Mhm.
instead, he's like, "You were cheating on me," like, yeah, you don't go from "You're cheating on me" to "I'm gonna chloroform you and throw you off a cliff."
I was waiting for something to I'm reading because I want to know if there was like any clues that actually said that he was there.
No,
Um,
I think I went back and I didn't see, like, anything that would allude to it other than the fact that it sounded like he got to her car from up
mhm.
the hill really fast, but that could have just been a like, a time jump in the book, like, it's not clear. And then he hears I can hear somebody in the car breathing, "Yeah, it's you, dude." Because he couldn't talk if he was in the car, because then it would be on both lines, they would be able to know, so he just kinda got in the car and breathed. Like,
I hear the sound of screeching brakes, then silence. What happened? I ask. Are you okay? Can you hear me? The silence continues, but then I hear a voice again. I'm fine, but there's a woman lying in the road. What? Did you hit her? No, of course not. She was already there. That's why I stopped. Where are you now? How did she not hear him talking if she was in the car?
I don't know, like, what kinda microphone on his phone does he have? Because it could have been windy, like, there's too many plot holes in that. I don't want to keep poking in that, but he definitely didn't
I'm going down a rabbit hole because I'm like,
like not he Norman Bates'd her. He wore her coat and she should have been like, "Damn, that looks like my coat." Like, I know he didn't go out and buy a red coat for this occasion. No.
hmm,
He's crazy. He's beyond crazy. And you don't nothing else, regardless of his point of view, nothing else really showed that. And that kind of ticked me
I
off
know.
because he should have turned in it should have been a flip. That would have made it really, really good.
Hmm.
But
Because
also
just the
like,
fact of just looking at it, like it really didn't have anything that was him with that.
no. I think it would have been
Mm-mm.
better to have like him use the people that have been making threats against her, like
Hmm.
team up with them and then make her disappear. That would have been a better premise than him wearing her coat, chloroforming her. Like, what? This
Yeah.
is not the, this is in the 60s where everybody thinks that that works super easy. Like, it would be hard. And then,
Yep.
like, he just threw her off a cliff. How steep was this cliff? And she seemed fine. She ain't got no
She seemed
lasting damage or
perfectly
nothing.
fine. Mm-mm. So it couldn't have
Like,
been where, or maybe he just wanted to scare her.
but, like, what cliff? Because, like, she got up and, like, left and, like, went away and disappeared, and
Hmm.
then he's like, "My wife, I don't know where my wife is." If it was just a cliff, like, on the other side of the car, they would have found her. So he
Hmm.
had to have, like, drove her somewhere. Did they not check his car? Like, it just don't
It
make
was
no
just too
sense.
many. It was just too many weird pieces and parts there. That's one part at the very end of the book for that reveal. I was trying to figure it out because I'm like, but wait, how? And the whole thing, it just doesn't give you that feel for crazy husband. It
No.
doesn't. Mm-mm.
And, like, if you're gonna do that, like, make it clear when you do reveal that he's actually crazy. Like, let him snap, let him change, but they didn't do that.
I don't think he actually like lost it one bit really in the book for real. Like
No.
I feel like he kind of kept it together for the most part. Even when he was like trying to get away, he still seemed pretty composed.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So, another big reveal.
Mhm.
And this is where I knew this one was coming. You get these flashbacks from Abby,
Mhm.
but Abby isn't our Abby.
Yes.
Abby is Kitty, and
Mhm.
she was married to the writer that lived in this shack before, Charles.
Mhm.
And I just got to say, and it's going to sound a little crazy, who marries a man who thinks that he can just finger you on a plane and then invites you home and like you guys just go on a date? How this had to been like the 60s because
That was one of the things in the in Fable I put. I was like, but aren't they strangers?
and like I, no. But
That was
besides
just
that,
weird. That was just weird.
what I didn't like about that is they did a similar kind of thing in another book, and it
Mhm.
made more sense because they never said the character's name. They said,
Okay.
"My loving wife, my loving husband." You didn't
Mhm.
realize that it was a different wife or a different husband or whatever.
Oh, okay.
In this one, they said Abby. So you keep thinking it's our
Mhm.
Abby. And then you turn to find out it's, well, my name was Abby too. That's why I changed my name because we couldn't have two Abbies. That
Mhm.
is
Yep.
lazy.
And that was odd. Like that was just weird how I think that might have been one of my favorite twists maybe. Just how that backstory of how she was actually in the cave. Like she had ran away with the cave. I thought that part was good.
Yeah.
But the rest, yeah.
I mean, I get it. I get what they're trying to say here. The island, you know, men have all this power. they abused. They're responsible for the substitute. The male substitute was responsible for the children drowning, even though
Mhm.
technically Abby was.
Mhm.
But then the male piano teacher who was molesting her and all of that. I mean, get rid of the men. I don't even argue with you. Just take them out like the birds, okay?
How do you have a whole entire island with no men?
Did you pick up on it while you were reading? Because I did not.
Mhm. No, I mean, when I was reading, I kind of got the feel for it not being any, especially when she married somebody else. So that was like, I'm thinking it was, a man, but it was not. So she
Well,
just
her name is Travis. Of course you would
like,
think it's a man.
yeah, and I mean that's a part of it,
I've
but I
never
just
met
didn't
a woman named Travis. That's new to me, but
never.
I mean, it's a name. You can do whatever you want.
And then it was supposed to be the person that like studied the trees or something on the island, which I
Yeah.
also thought was very weird. And how
So that's actually
there were no birds or something like
yeah.
that.
So the
That's just
redwoods
weird.
thing is real. It's not
Okay.
necessarily specific um to Scotland or anything or islands like that. They're all throughout the
Mhm.
UK, and it's because people traveled here, where the redwoods grow naturally, and they did take saplings and seeds home. And so there are
Okay.
redwoods in the UK, but um yeah, like the bird thing is a stretch. Like you think these birds are communicating and they're just like, "Hey, they killed everybody over here. Don't come back no more." Like that's not it's not how
And the
evolution
fact that
works.
there was none. Like they literally said there were no birds. How
It
can
don't make sense. Not on an
no, it just
island.
doesn't. No. It just
I
doesn't.
mean, you would have had to like be taking these birds out on site for decades for these birds to learn like, no, don't fly over there. You're gonna get shot.
Like I mean, were they eating them or something?
They were shooting them. They were literally shooting because the woodpeckers were damaging the trees, and apparently the men were too dumb to tell the difference between birds, so they just shot all the birds. Anytime they
Oh
saw a
my
bird,
god.
just plow out of the sky.
Oh my gosh.
Don't make no sense. First of all, ammo is expensive. No, it don't make sense that they just hunted out tens of
Mm-mm.
thousands of birds to protect some trees. Like it doesn't math. But um also there was such a culty vibe to this one with the rings and the tweed and like very weird. And so that's why I was starting to get cult vibes. And then the church, I was like, we are going there. We're going. It really
Yeah.
wasn't. It was a
No,
kind of
it
a
wasn't.
sanctuary kind of thing.
And the fact that it was what, 25? Yeah, that's the
25.
question I have. Okay, so this candle thing, was that candle like supposed to be like was he the 25th person on the island, which made him the 25th candle that they unlit?
No, there were 25. They were trying to pretend like Sandy died,
Oh,
but
so
Sandy didn't
that's
die.
what it was. Okay.
And they were all about forgiving him
Mhm.
until he was like, "Yeah, Sandy knows my secret. I'm gonna let her die in this cave."
Mhm.
And let him like lie about it. Like, yeah, you let him gaslight himself. He would have been
Because he
fine.
took the book.
Yeah. And like, let's
Mhm.
be honest, I would have took the book too. I feel like if you really thought it was a good book,
Mhm.
take that bad boy. Nobody found it, blah 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 blah. But something didn't
Mhm.
feel right. He got set up so hard and he was just
Yes.
oblivious.
Yeah. Like the
Like,
bones that were not there a second ago, and it was just like they planned for him to be there. They knew everything that was gonna happen. They already had it planned. No men allowed, all of that.
yeah.
Mhm.
The final straw for me and why my rating dropped down to a 3. I want to know, did he live a year on this island or did he get drugged by the tea and then pass out and wake up in a coffin and he's now dead. Which is it?
I
I
feel
think
like
it's the
he lived
second one.
for a year.
I don't.
No, I feel like he did live for the year.
I think because he said right before it cuts to a year later, he says he felt like he was like fading out. I think they
Mm-hmm.
drugged him in order to get him buried in that coffin. And then he wakes up. While he was sleeping, he was dreaming as if he took the deal and he lived for a year on that island. And then he wakes up and he's
Oh.
actually been buried alive.
No, see, I thought it was actually him being there for a year
And they just
because
decide,
he had wrote the book and
thanks.
then because they needed him for the royalties for the island because that's why they said, well, we'll let you live. But it was only for the year,
Which is
which
weird.
I that was another part I didn't quite get because why only let him live for the year?
If you have been replacing everybody on the island, all the men, with women who could do the job just as good, wouldn't you just go find a bomb ass female writer to live on your island and write books and share your royalties and like keep that island men free? Why are you
Hmm.
using a man? Like, can women not write?
I mean, I would think they could,
Alice
or even
Feeney. I
they,
mean, it's not like that's a dude. Like she's
but
a
even
writer.
they could have actually taken the. Yes, you may go ahead. Hold
Yeah,
on,
he
sorry.
they could have taken his books, that Charlie's books that were unreleased, and made them their own. They could have done anything.
Mm-mm. There. Okay, thank you. Go on. Thank you. Go on. Starting to get restless.
I
No,
got you.
I'm actually looking for that part because okay, I close my eyes and everything fades to black. Oh, and then 1 year later. So was he in there for the whole year?
I think he because they drugged him. I think he was hallucinating while he was passed out, and he just got offered that deal. So of course he would dream about the deal, and it's just like he woke up the next day, and it's the next year, and he's dreaming everything's hunky dory, and he's just living this great life on this island with all these women and who were ready to kill him, and
Oh,
in fact they actually were killing him. I don't think they ever planned on
okay.
giving him the deal.
Mm-mm. The way I see it, you have no money, nowhere to live, no there's prospects, no future, no hope. Don't you see? Accepting the offer, staying on the island, delivering a bestseller every year is what you wanted. You should be happy. Why don't you sleep on it? Sleeping on something always helps me know what to do. See, I took that as he just was like, all right, fine, I'm going to stay. So he went to sleep. And then we jumped to the 1 year later.
Who who just falls asleep around
Well,
a bunch
no,
of psychopaths?
I mean, he was a psychopath himself.
Exactly. He
So
wasn't
he
going to sleep.
probably felt very comfortable.
He was trying to get off the island. I think too much adrenaline pumping. He had to be drugged. Fade to black. Like, I mean, he drinks a lot, but I think it's the tea. Them and that damn tea.
He, bog myrtle tea. That's what it's called.
Okay.
Bog myrtle tea.
That sounds disgusting.
It definitely doesn't sound like it would be good at all.
No.
I
I
wouldn't
don't
drink
know.
anything that was bog myrtle tea.
I think there were some elements that maybe she rushed a little bit on, like the shop being called Beautiful Ugly and her making glass like stuff. I don't know. It just felt
Hmm.
some of the stuff didn't make any sense.
There were some parts in there, and that's why I gave it the point 0.5. But I did enjoy the overall just twist. Um, yeah, I liked it.
I didn't dislike it, but you can tell I had some problems.
Hmm.
And so I think it's a 3 star, but I recommend it. I think it's a good thriller. Of some thrill I've had some really bad thrillers. And so I enjoyed this one. I would recommend this. And that's 2 books, one a 4-star and one a 3-star from Alice
Mhm.
Feeney. I think I've got another 4-star in me or maybe even a 5-star in Daisy Darker. Now I've heard terrible things about Good Bad Girl, which was her book that came
Okay.
out last year, but I think I'm just gonna
No, that one wasn't on my
skip that
radar.
one.
That
No.
one wasn't
It
on
kind of
mine.
reminded me of Good Girl's Guide to Murder, which is actually a pretty good little YA thriller, and it's a Netflix show, so you gotta check it out, but, um,
Mhm.
it's not it's not that, and so I'm gonna skip that one. Imma do Daisy Darker sometime maybe this spring, summer, and we'll see
Summer.
if the 3rd time's the charm.
Do it in the summer.
Yeah, it sounds like a good camping book. I'll take it when we go camping a lot in the summer.
Just don't read the one that I read. That was a
Which
bad
one?
thriller. The which one was that book? Doggone it. It wasn't a very good thriller. It was one of the ones that I read, and of course I can't look on my Fable because it's on my phone. But it was, oh man.
The only
Maybe it's
books
a
that
good
come
thing
into
I didn't
mind,
remember it.
the one that comes to mind isn't a thriller, it's a horror-ish book that you read, which was Immortal Dark,
No,
and I
I
know
didn't
you
finish
hated
that
that
one.
one.
That was just too much all at once. I was that's gonna have to be a reread. That's honestly gonna have to be a reread.
I
Um,
don't even have
I
nobody
made
that
it to
I've seen liked it.
70%. I made it all the way to
Ooh.
70%. That was the thing. Like I was in and I was going and I was good, but it was just like, what is this?
We talked
No, I
about this.
can't.
This is the part of the, um, the show here where we just devolve into talking about whatever we want. I hope everybody
Yes.
enjoyed the book as much as we did for March and or Ap I'm sorry, February. March,
Mhm.
The Lion Women of Tehran.
Yes. How do
My book of the month is coming.
mine is on the way. I can't wait. I'm excited. What books did you get? Did you only get that one or did you get more?
I got that one and the island one, Shore, something Shore.
Okay, so we did end up getting the same ones then.
We
This
got
is
the
the
same book.
first time we
Well,
actually got the same ones.
did you end up getting um the special edition for God of the Woods?
Yeah, I got that one. So I got the God of the Woods, the Shore Island one, and then the Lion Woman of Tehran. So I actually
Oh, I
got
thought you
three of
said you
this.
couldn't get 3.
No, I wanted to get Oathbound. Oathbound would have gave me too many, and
Oh,
I couldn't add on Oathbound.
I got you. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we're just gonna have to buy that one. I'm gonna do Legendborn. That feels like April, so I am excited to go into that as you go into the 3rd book. Well, did you finish the 2nd?
No, it's right
Okay,
there.
so
You see
well, maybe we reread
it?
Legendborn together,
Okay.
and then you can go on to Bloodmarked. I'm not gonna go directly into Bloodmarked, but I'll see if I even like the
Well,
series.
well, you know how I do. Like, I don't rush to take the next book. I take my time, especially knowing that this one now has a fourth book coming. So,
Oh,
Oathbound is actually not the last book like everyone thought. There's going to be a book four. So I kind of like to wait and then also let everybody else get their reads in and everything because then I'm like, okay, well everybody read it. I don't have to see any more of, the spoilery type of things where you got to scroll really fast because you don't want to hear about it. I just like to take my time with them and I don't read the sequels like back to back. So I could
yeah,
read one and then wait like maybe a month or two and I'm like, "Oh, well let me pick this up." Like the Akatar stuff. I still haven't read book 3 yet. I was supposed to read it last
yeah.
month, but I didn't get there.
No, but I mean, I think sometimes it's okay to take your time, and
Mhm.
sometimes it's okay to take your time on a book that takes you 3 months to read, like Iron Flame.
We don't talk about Bruno. No, no, no.
Yeah, yeah, it was I'm like, "Finish
That is
that
Bruno.
book."
That is Bruno.
I'm happy it is done, it is in your past. Is he singing? I love it.
That's so great. No,
We talked about this.
that was my Bruno. I
You
was
sent
not
me
a fan.
a picture of the book, and I was at the library yesterday, and I
You found it.
Yeah, it just came
Okay.
out. It's hard as hell to see, but the Spirit
Okay.
Collection of Thorn Hall. Now, let me tell you, now that I have this book in my hands,
Uh-huh.
it feels like it could easily end up getting DNF'd. But I do want to try and check it out. Like,
Try it. It sounded like something that you were gonna read. That's why when I saw it, I was like, this is Caleb all the way. Let me
none
send
of
it.
the
Mm-hmm.
blurbs are by like the library journal. Like, it's not another author. So this feels
Oh.
like it's a modern take on a gothic tale in original chilling ghost story. I want it to be everything, and I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
give it that kind of love. But I've picked up some books that just have a feel about them. And this
Mm-hmm.
book, it feels like it's not going to go well. But
Oh. I'm
she
hopeful for you.
she's written her debut novel Asperfell, which was a YA novel, came out in 2020. So I think this
Mm-hmm.
is her um second book and her first adult fiction. So, we love a new author. J. Ann Thomas is who wrote
Mm-hmm.
this. She got to get a better author photo because it looks like a Tinder photo. But nonetheless, I'm excited to see if it's worth it. Like, if I get 20% in and it's just not for me, I'll DNF it.
Okay. But at least you didn't buy it though.
No, I don't.
I think that's the
I don't
best
buy
part
books.
about being able to use the library. Like this year is definitely completely different for me because I am very proud to say that as of right now, well, technically,
You got that book
as
of the
of
month.
like technically before yesterday, I did not buy any books. But with the book of the month, I did do the edition. And also, it's my birthday month. So, why not treat myself to a couple books this month? But I don't have any plans on reading or buying anything else. But definitely, I will be buying Mistborn because I have tried audio, I have tried electronic. I need that one in my hands. I feel like I'm going to be tabbing away at that one. Um,
Try and get the Here, I'll make you this deal. Try and get a decent sized paperback of it. Don't spend the money
mhm.
on the hardcover, but the larger size,
No, I
not
want
the
the
really little
paperback.
one.
Yeah, no,
And
I want the paperback.
if you end up not liking it, I'll just buy it from you because I have the
I would
mass
just give
market
it to you.
paperback.
I
No,
would
no, no,
just
no.
give it
We
to you.
we we buy it. I got the mass market paperback because it was on that buy one get one 50% off table.
Uh-huh.
And I don't want that mass market. I want to collect all these books, but
Okay.
I can't do mass market. I
Like the
just
mass
hate
market,
that.
what does it look like?
It's like the size of your Kindle and
Oh.
like the really thick, little books like you would
Oh.
read back in the day, like
Okay,
that
so
they had
like the
in
little tiny
school
ones.
library.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I have to look to see where I can get that one.
So
Maybe
it
I'll
goes
take a trip to
hardcover,
maybe I'll take a trip to Barnes.
paperback, and then mass market paperback.
I
Mass
know I
market is when
do
it's been
not
out for years.
I know I don't want to get the hardcover. I know that for a fact. I want to get the paperback for it. So maybe I'll have to take a trip to Barnes and see if they have it there.
BAM is probably your better bet.
Bam.
I don't
Okay.
know. Barnes will definitely have it. I don't know
Okay.
if it's I don't know if it's going to be cheap.
Mhm.
Barnes is just so damn
But I
expensive.
feel like I feel like I might have a gift card coming though. So if I have a gift card, then that's girl math. I'm not spending it.
That's fair. It was gifted to you. You didn't spend the money on the gift card.
Exactly. Exactly.
I
But
agree.
I know I am going into somebody's bookstore over the next couple weekends and I will be buying a few.
Oh, nice. We
Aw, thanks, bro.
I
That's my
appreciate you coming
that's
on.
my block. Thanks.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I know I saw some tickers, some people jumped on.
Mhm.
They didn't say anything, and that's okay.
That's
Um,
okay, they were probably just shocked because we actually went more spoilery this time. This is,
we
like, the
did, and I
first
think
time we actually,
they
like,
jumped on.
just jumped in. It's like, "Let's go. Let's
We
talk
gave it
about it."
like 20 good minutes. I think that's a good
We did.
stretch.
We did. We did.
And I mean, let's be honest, these books, we're here for spoilers because I need to know how you felt about a man dressing in a woman's red coat and lying in the road. I needed to know this from me. Okay,
That was
because
just the
he's
one
crazy.
thing that I read, and I was like, it just didn't. That it just didn't. I don't know, maybe I have to do better with my ratings because everything so far for me this year, I think, has been all fours and fives except Bruno. Um, I think everything has been fours or fives for me so far.
I don't think that's a problem. I think if you had a good time, I
Mhm,
didn't let people talk me down. I let myself talk me down on my score.
mhm,
And I do take my reading a little more serious than I certainly need to. I need to just read like I enjoy myself, but then at sometimes I want to look back on this and go, am I is my opinion and being honest with myself going to help another person determine whether or not they want to read it or not? I hope that it doesn't deter anybody from reading it if they really want to read
mhm.
it, but I also want them to understand
It's
my
your
my
perspective.
justification of
Yes,
it
it's
at
your
the end.
perspective and your point of view on how you felt with the book, your opinion. And I think that's one of the best things about being in the bookish community. Like now I can say like we are legit, like we're in it. And we each have our own, you know, views on this book or that book.
Yeah.
And yeah, I can't wait to see you read Nightingale though.
Yeah, you think I'm how give me some piece. Do you think I'm gonna love it? You think I'm gonna hate it?
I think you are going to love the way it is written.
Fair.
I think that is the best way to put it. It was I wasn't expecting what I was reading. When I think of historical fiction, especially in the sense of this one, it was World War II. So that was, with the Nazis and Auschwitz and pilots being down and all of that stuff. So I did not link that that was going to be a part of this story.
Okay.
And the way that Hannah just wove those together, I thought it was awesome. It's got some heart moments. It's got, but a lot of people said they were crying at the end of the book, and
Yeah, my friend said the
I
same
did
thing,
not cry.
and you
I did
didn't
not
cry
cry.
in Untethered either.
No, I think I'm broken.
Because let me tell you, I saw so many people that I could relate to in Untethered, and I couldn't help
Mhm.
but cry.
No,
I'm also
I
really
think I'm
sensitive. I
broken.
cry real easy.
I am too. I don't know what's going on.
It's Iron Flame. Blame it on Iron Flame. Bruno messed it up for you.
Bruno destroyed it.
Oh goodness. Well, I appreciate you popping on here. I
Absolutely.
think I'm going to talk to Emily if she's watching. Emily, we're going to talk about it, but I think I want to try
Mhm.
and do sprints tomorrow as long as we can.
Okay.
Sometime later in the evening. I know it won't be too bad for you because you can unmute, talk for a little bit, mute and read, and Ham can go run
Mhm.
around in the background. So it's not as
Yeah,
high
I'm
pressure.
definitely planning on it. We usually do a movie night, so with everything that I have, I'm pretty sure that I could still manage to do so because I he'll probably want to play the game or watch Kid City, which he's doing now, whatever that is. He loves it.
Well, he did good. He didn't come in and disturb you too much. He wasn't
No, he did
loud. He did a great
excellent.
job.
I'm very proud. We're getting better at this. We're
I
doing
think
good.
as long as we can keep doing this and we can keep sitting down every couple weeks and hanging out, I
Yes.
I'm here for it.
I love it. I'm here for it. So life sprints tomorrow. Book club, Lion Women of Tehran is the choice for March in celebration of Women's History Month. Um, what else am I forgetting announcement wise? Our next episode will be coming out on the 14th.
14th. Yep, 8
On the
days.
14th, 8 days. So our next episode is coming out. Um, am I missing anything?
I think that's it for right now. We know what we're doing for April, but you don't get to find out about April for a few more weeks. But
I did maybe tell one or two people.
well, that's all right. We didn't
One
tell
or
the
two.
internet. That's okay with me.
No, no, but I did
Emily
tell one or
knows.
two people.
And
Okay.
I think I've heard nothing but yays about this. I think it's going to be a good book for April.
And we have some good plans too.
Yes,
Spring
we do.
cleaning.
Spring cleaning time. I'm ready.
Yes.
I'm looking at these shelves every day and I'm like, get it out of here.
I can't wait.
All
I got
right.
a
Well,
couple of them I looked at too.
nice. I'm going to let you go get hand me down. I'm going to go figure out what's going on downstairs as I have just been locked up here for an hour. And I'll see everybody tomorrow for sprints.
Sounds good. Happy
All
reading.
right. Happy reading.
Bye.